We're three best friends, and we love Lost. And we love talking, but even more so, we love talking about Lost. So join us for some laughs, good conversation, and let's get lost together. Welcome back, everyone, to Let's Get Lost with your Oceanic Three. So we have Kip, aka Jack Lover 92. We have Amanda, aka Kate Hate 88, and then there is me with no username. So we're gonna do a poll when this episode comes out on our Instagram and on our Facebook, with a list of usernames that I've come up with. I don't want to be a hater like Amanda. I'd rather be a lover like Kipper. So we'll put that up. We'll let it run for about a week, and then we will give myself that username. But it'll only be for this season.
Can we get any previews of what your names might be?
Yeah, Miss Sun Dursted 42. Okay, all right. Not.
I think it's funny because I've seen the list, everyone, and they're all similar to that. It's like very fancy, punny ones where Kate Hate 88 isn't exactly inspired.
It rhymes.
That's true. So why don't we give you a rhyming one? I think earlier Kip had suggested my favorite one so far.
I don't like it. We're talking
Michael Schmeichel 11.
Michael Schmeichel 11. Michael Schmeichel.
I'm pretty
11.
sure I said that I wanted to be a lover, not a hater.
Yeah, but in your hate, there is love.
There is no love. I am chugging the haterade
I think
hard
you love
for Michael.
to hate him.
No.
I think there's a fine line between love and hate.
This is indifference.
It is not indifference.
There's no fucking way this is indifference.
Isn't indifference worse than hate?
I believe at the end of this episode's rankings and stream of consciousness, there will be a very clear indication that this is not indifferent.
Well, he was garbage this episode. Let's be
He barely did anything other than try to help them, but continue.
Oh, We'll get there.
Let's start by hearing what we're even going to be talking about today.
Okay, we're going to be talking about Solitary, the 9th episode. Written by David Fury and directed by Greg Yanadis. When a golf bag is found in the wreckage, Hurley constructs a primitive golf course to give the survivors a much-needed recreational outlet. In the jungle, Sayid's attempt at exploration ends when he falls into a trap. He regains consciousness in the lair of a mysterious Frenchwoman named Danielle Rousseau. Sayid's overtures of friendship are rebuffed as Rousseau resorts to torture, believing him to be part of a mysterious tribe already living on the island. Freaky.
Very freaky. Let's hear some facts about this episode before we continue our discussion.
Yeah.
So 17.64 million viewers this week.
That's high.
And that is back to those like kind of high numbers we were talking about earlier. IMDb rating, 8.5 out of 10. Criminally low in my opinion, but we'll get to that. Covers days 12 to 13 on the island. Sawyer nickname count is 2, with 2 relatively tame ones. Well, kind of. Dr. Quinn for Jack, and Freckles, of course, for Kate, the only person on the island Sawyer can stand to be near. Honorary mention, he calls Jack Jackass, which insult more than nickname, probably.
I mean, Jack is his name.
I think it's both. It wouldn't...
To be fair, I think Dr. Quinn is also meant as an insult.
Loved it, though.
I did too.
Dr. Quinn.
Especially it's like a primitive...
Yeah.
Or, it covers a lot of bases.
Absolutely, yeah. I appreciated Dr. Quinn.
Me too.
Well, thanks, Amanda. Those are some interesting facts.
All right, and I think we have
see those numbers up. Trivia? Okay, I'm going to read some statements first, and then I'm going to give you some questions, okay?
Okay, thank you.
In Solitary, the series solved its first mystery. So, for all those out there that says Lost never answered any questions, boom.
Bitch, who was on the transmission?
That's right.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Danielle Rousseau.
And, might I add, quite quickly.
Yeah, it's episode 9, okay? So, calm down, people. All right, so this reveal occurred despite the network encouraging the producers to wait until the finale to reveal who was on the transmission. In an early draft of Solitary, Rousseau told Sayid that she and her research team were studying time. That's what they were coming to study. Interesting. Maybe not. However, ABC saw this draft and asked them not to put in that line because the network was very afraid of making it seem too sci-fi-y in the first season. Which is kind of good and bad because it's like, if they did that, which clearly they had some pull to like take away some of the sci-fi-ness, but then it almost feels like a switcheroo come season 2 and when they start getting heavier into the sci-fi.
100%.
So it's like, why not just build it up organically?
Like hashtag smoke monster.
And like, why, organically and just kind of like a throwaway kind of line. Like,
No one would think, oh my God, this is sci-fi. But like,
I think people already had like kind of an inclination because I don't know, like polar bears in the jungle, trees being knocked down, someone getting
something's
ripped
going
out
on
of a
here.
plane. Like this isn't like normal.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, really interesting.
That is interesting. Any trivia for us today?
I have a couple trivia questions, okay? All right. So, how many languages does Danielle ask Sayid in if he knows where Alex is?
11.
No?
Donde está Alex?
That's 1.
Ue Alex?
That's 2. Where is Alex?
Where is Alex?
That's 3.
At least 3.
Well, you can't say
That's
at
my
least.
answer.
It's 6. 6 languages.
Good for her.
That was really cool. I liked that to show that she's, I don't know if she came on the island knowing that or if she's just had a lot of time on her hands. But
She's had 16 years.
How do you teach yourself another language without like?
She might have had some books.
I guess.
might
But
have had some visitors.
How do you know if your pronunciation is right?
Maybe she just knew those all before she got there.
Yeah,
That's
probably.
possible.
Yeah, okay. The character of Rousseau is based on a famous what? A, explorer, B, philosopher, C, poet, or D, scientist?
Philosopher.
Correct.
I don't know anything.
So, the philosopher Rousseau, this is the actual philosopher, stated, in a state of nature, people were neither good nor bad, but noble savages who used reason for self-preservation. He stated that people were corrupted by society, which he viewed as an artificial construct. He famously said, man is born free and everywhere is in chains.
Interesting.
Very interesting.
A few parallels to what's happening, I think.
Most of.
Potential. One more question, okay?
4 today.
This is only
Is that
3.
4?
I think
I don't
it's
know,
3.
guys. I'm losing it.
Naveen Andrews, who plays Sayid, earned an Emmy nomination in season 1. Only one other actor received an Emmy nomination for season 1. Who was it?
Not Evangeline Lilly, or I'm quitting this show.
She actually won Best Actress 6 years in a row.
I know that is not accurate.
Terry O'Quinn.
Correct.
Yeah, so finally got one.
Awesome.
Yay.
So we're tied again. Little Tyroo.
Yeah.
Little Tyroo.
Yeah, I never win actually, other than that like one time.
Very interesting. It is interesting because I do remember it winning a lot of Emmys, or at least being nominated. I don't know if I was paying total attention to that kind of stuff back then, but I do remember it being relatively well received critically for sure. And then the last season, despite some concerns, garnered a lot of Emmy nominations.
It did, yeah. And it was nominated a lot, but I think it lacked... I feel like Terry O'Quinn was nominated almost every year. And I think... a character who shows up, I don't think till season 2, that actor was nominated pretty much every year, and he might have won a few times too.
He should have.
Do they win like best supporting or like?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, because it's
wonder-
ensemble.
Yeah, I always wonder how it works in an ensemble if everyone's just like.
Alrighty, there's our trivia. So let's get into our stream of consciousness, and that shall set the stage for the rest of our conversation. Theresa, take it away.
Yeah. So this time I went with I tried to do it on my phone, and so that we don't keep hearing the pages flipping. But I'm not wearing my glasses, so we'll see how this goes. All right. So it starts with, I wonder how far Sayid got because I don't see any plane wreckage in this long shot. How long's it been? He also has very great hair. I feel like I would go crazy being alone with my thoughts the entire time. What's he looking at? I feel like I would audibly say, but what are this, if I saw what he was looking at. I would not be this quiet and just meander over to investigate. Also, did we forget about the smoke monster? The bears? How's he fending for himself? What's he eating? Where's he sleeping? Also, that's a thick cable. And in the water, where to? And then in the mystery jungle. Jack is looking real good today, and I'm not really sure why. And Sawyer's arm is looking real nice. Jack's being a little mean, but you know what? Sawyer isn't really helping matters. I also don't understand why we're always fussing about Kate. What's she done to be so sought after? Jack, how are you so sweaty walking from Sawyer's tent to wherever Kate is? Looks like it's about 4 feet. Oh, okay, so it's been 2 days. So in his backpack, did Sayid bring a change of clothes? How do they do laundry here? And it looks like Kate is mad at him. I mean, I guess I kind of get it. He's pretty dismissive of Sayid going off on his own. Don't tell me Jack is jealous of Sayid now, too. We do know she's not property, yes? It's not a she's mine kind of deal, especially after what I think might be 2 weeks. Sayid, is that a tripwire? You know, I feel like they have enough problems without having to deal with booby traps. Oh, yeah. And he just hit his head. I'm glad he did, actually. I feel like usually when there are these things where they get caught upside down, they just swing around and nothing happens. And, you know, there are trees and shit, so you definitely swing towards something. Oh, he didn't hit his head. There's something out of his leg. I think that might be worse. All right, well, he's passed out. But he didn't play that game of do we take it out or leave it in. I feel like that's a risky game. I would have played that because, you know, what if the stick hit an artery and then you take it out and then you bleed out? Or is that why he passed out? I don't know. And now we were cutting. Great. Oh, he's still upside down. And it's nighttime, so he's been out for a while. I guess he didn't bleed out and die. So was this trap for animals or people? Do they know that someone would step over the wire and then that's where the trap should be? I feel like animals just aren't that observant, so maybe people? Sayid, just pass out again and fake it, or play dead. Don't call out to these people. They caught you, for God's sake. How did he not break his neck falling down head first? And of course, he passes out when they see the figure appear. He woke up just enough time to see that. All right, so who is hurt now? I don't understand the slightest. Who is this guy? Oh my God, this guy's such a wimp. Calm down. You know what, sir? I want to break your glasses so you stop speaking and let Jack talk. Jack, kudos to you for not hitting him or activating his hives. I would have just run my fingers over them to make him itchier. Hurley, I get what you're saying, but everyone's got issues. This guy can't be freaking out and bogarting the doc's time with his hypochondria. Jack, I think we might be soulmates, actually. Sorry, Kate. And sorry, Kipper. Hurley, why don't you do something then? Jack has enough on his plate. He doesn't have to worry about this. Also, things could entirely be worse. You could all be bleeding out. You could all have infection. You could all be in pieces, dead, staked by trees, eaten by boars, mauled to death by a bear. Also, who's Alex? It's a lot of languages. Sayid, are you okay? I need to learn more languages. Oh my God, what the hell? Are you electrocuting him? See, you know what? That's the hair I would expect. Very messy, very matted. Oh my God. He's torturing him. And he has to choose between his hands or his life. I feel like I'd choose my life. How do you know when you're torturing someone that they're going to give up the truth? Are they telling the truth? Are they lying about the truth? When do you stop? Death? Like, how did Sayid know he didn't know anything? Because he barfed? Because he got punched a bunch of times? You don't care about your life. Would you even concede to the torture? Is the girl in the picture on the opposite side of him? Who's this guy now? Oh, hey, Ethan. Look at us introducing new characters. What's the hypochondriac guy's name? No, Walt, you can't go. You're a child. Honestly, why is Michael already yelling? I don't remember Locke and Michael's last interactions. Maybe it was when he gave him the dog? Or maybe when Michael was downed by a piglet? Hard to say, but it seems very hostile. See what I mean, though? Sayid is being tortured for information, and I don't think he knows what this person is talking about, but she keeps trying to attack him. I think I might be dumb. Is it weird that seeing a cable on a beach, I would think I was on some kind of reality show and not something about the transmission? What does that say about me? Society's ruined me. Reality TV has ruined me. Are there any shows where you're on a reality show but you don't know? Hess, is that legal? I love knowing French. Oh my God, it's her. She looks effed. C'est elle. Elle a fait l'appel pour l'aide. Ça fait 16 ans. Elle est vivante. Come on. Clearly some badass skills. Ma'am, it's rude to go through someone's things. But another new name, another new character. And she's actually badass. But who are we talking about? I can't do this show. How did I do it before? The stress. Are they becoming friends? And another name? Nadia. Do I need to add all these people to my list of rankings? I guess I'll ask the others. Oh, shit, is he supposed to torture her? Oh my god, they're friends. Best friends? Young friends? Were they something more? Yeah, you know what? Sounds like she had a crush on him. I have chills. Torture is scary, and I'm so uncomfortable. I didn't know that, I don't know that I could ever hurt someone. Also, why is she touching him so much, like inspecting him? Is this a friendship blooming? You know, because if so, let him go. But if not, stop touching. Why don't you help him? Why don't you help Walt out? Or maybe hang out with him a little bit, Michael? He's 9 or whatever. He needs shit to do. He's young. Hurley, that giggle's so cute. But what are you doing? You know, I don't think I know how to be a captor. Come to think of it, if I was alone for 16 years, I'd want to chat with someone too. But this is heartbreaking. Oh my god, is Russo going to force herself on him? I am unsettled.
Oh my god.
Okay, like I can't even fault her for touching his face, really. The pandemic really did a number on me. You know what, Michael? I'm so proud of you. You're finally doing something. Oh my god. Hurley made golf. That's so cute. But Michael, why are you with them? You don't deserve this. Go away, you jackass. This is the cutest thing, but fuck you, Michael. Fuck you for taking any joy away from anyone. I'm with Hurley on this. So, why are we all okay just going out into the open when there's boars, monsters, polar bears? Just a question. Why are we wandering around so much? Ah, okay. Yes, Hurley, that's exactly right. Everyone's like, let's survive here and whatever, but no one's saying anything about mental health. So this is fantastic. Very creative. Oh, we have another name. Okay, Robert. I'm very good with my hands. Sounds suggestive, Sayid. Also, what is this? Is that needle clean, ma'am? What are you doing? That's a dirty needle. Is this safe? Why are Michael and Jack standing so close to each other? Also, Jack, that scrub is looking mighty fine. And everyone's playing and so happy. I love this, but that's quite the clearing. I wonder how he found it. You know, this guy's gotta go. He's playing golf while you worry about your damn rash. Oh, okay, he's gonna join them, but maybe, chill out first. How did Russo move Sayid? Where did he get a sedative? How is she so strong? You know what, Danielle? Bonjour. Okay, so based on what she's saying, we're close to Tahiti, so we're somewhere between Tahiti and Australia. Except she was on a ship, no plane crash, so where is this ship? And that's quite the shelter, good job. But imagine being there and thinking it was temporary and then living there for 2 months. Well, for her, 16 plus years. I'm sure Sayid is probably freaking the F out now. I mean, I would be. What's the black rock? Who is them? What are they hearing? Am I having a stroke? No other people on the island, but you hear them and they whisper? This legit sounds like a horror film. But how come no one else has heard it after 2 weeks of being here? I feel like they would not free Nadia. Their story really hurts me. Shannon, you're still alive, still doing nothing. Haven't seen you in a while, Boone, either. Why is everyone always carrying sticks? Is there anything else they can do? Who's watching the beach if they all go watch Jack and whoever play golf? And Sawyer is looking fine. Also, this interaction is kind of cute. He's quite the charmer, but also a dick. So, I mean, in the game of Kill Fuck Marry, Jack, Sawyer, or Boone, we'll have to touch on that after. Is Kate really saying she's an outcast if everyone's trying to bone her? Man, Sayid is a survivor. He is a clever man. I don't like the way that the music box stopped when she said go. I have chills. I'm so confused. What is that sound? Is the monster back? Is it a bear? How many bears are there here? Is it a polar bear? Is it a normal bear? What's a normal bear? Black bear? Brown bear? I don't know. This episode is intense. Ma'am, there are such things as monsters. Hashtag Michael's a monster, just kidding. But actually there are such things as monsters. Just ask the pilot from the pilot. But you can't. He's dead. See, this is what I mean. If you're torturing someone, which, by the way, is Sayid hurting Nadia, have we even seen that? I feel like no. When do you stop? Apparently when it's been more than a month. Please don't shoot her. Kate, why are you approaching everyone when everyone else is standing away? You can't join. There's a lineup. Michael, here we go again. You're such a dick. Do you hate your kid or something? Like you're an ass. I'm sorry for whatever Michael lover there is out there, but he's an asshat. What a douche. So you want Walt to cut the line? Bad parenting. Then instead of letting him take a swing on your turn to even try to make up for the fact that you left him alone, you're going to take your turn and leave him yet again. Super. Also, why do we keep leaving to go do shit by ourselves or leave people by themselves? Sawyer's alone on the beach, maybe. I didn't count how many people were watching, and now we've left Claire at the caves by himself, and we let a kid wander through the batshit scary jungle by themselves. Bye, Walt. Honestly, you're better out without him, but you'll die out there alone, so maybe you can come back. I'm really very impressed with Sayid's survival skills. Also, how's he totally fine walking after his leg was all jacked up? Maybe we don't just point guns at each other. Okay, all of this is scaring me. You know, I'm glad he's not going to kill her, but is this okay? Are you going to be fucked after? Who's Omar to him again? How did Sayid hurt you, though, Danielle? Oh, man, it's empty. Oh, never mind. It's not empty. The firing pin was removed. I don't know how guns work. Excuse me, you shot Robert? Why? What? I thought you loved him. What was he sick with? What did you lose him to? She killed them? Multiple? You said that it killed them. Are you it? I'm so confused. Why can't you let him go? Danielle, je ne comprends pas. Okay, you know, this just isn't right. Also, that last message from Nadia is so sad. I mean, Sayid, I don't know that you'll ever get off this island. And if it'll be because of their help, I guess your people? Are you going to bring Danielle back? Oh, never mind. You just answered my question. He wants to get back to them after 2 days. Has he sorted himself out? He's no longer going to torture people? Is this enough time? What is he watching for? Maybe instead of saying, I'm going to shit Danielle, you tell him what's up so he's prepared. Cryptic messages and words help no one. Alex is her child. That is another name and another sad story. You know what? Kate didn't cut. I'll take back that -10 I gave her. This is cute, Sawyer. He's trying. And Kate, you're helping. And Boone. Looks like everyone's getting points today, except Locke, because he's not there. Oh, you know what? This isn't appropriate. But I mean, what's Walt supposed to do considering his dad doesn't pay any attention to him? Did Sayid not just climb a ladder before the standoff with Russo, and now he needs to walk with a crutch? Did he already have a crutch? I don't know. This episode is stress. Sayid, go back to the beach. I can hear them. Get back to the beach. Apparently it's safer out there somewhere. Get out of the jungle. Use your crutch. Get out of the jungle. The whispers. They're here. The end.
Another sterling one.
Yeah.
This one was intense.
Sullivan.
I felt it.
I did not know if I was...
Sullivan?
Who's Sullivan?
Sullivan is the hypochondriac.
Oh, I didn't care for him either.
No, just calm down, sir.
There was a few characters just randomly introduced today, which I think they would have been damned if they do, damned if they don't, because there would probably been people saying at the time, no one, it's like, why even have all these extras and others if you're not going to interact with them? But then it's like they do, and it's like, this is so random.
It is also, sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, it just seemed kind of like a lot of new names for one episode.
I think there's a specific reason why there's more than one introduced at a time.
I do too. And I think maybe on Spoiler Island we'll talk about it.
Yes. Yes.
Perfect.
The other thing I want to dive into a little bit more on Spoiler Island, but I don't think is that crazy to say here. I think it's very sweet that Hurley is concerned about everyone's mental health in particular.
If you aren't aware of Spoiler Island, you can go to our Patreon, linked at our website, www.letsgetlostpod.info, and click the link that says Patreon, only $3 a month, and you can listen in on our spoiler-filled discussions about each episode as well.
Yes, and in just overall support us, because, even when you have 150 downloads, there are some things that we need support on, okay? And our gift to you in return is hearing how we think these episodes build on the mystery and mythos of the show as a whole.
There's also other gifts, like Amanda saying silly things that don't cut into the episodes.
And if that isn't incentive enough, I don't know what is.
I mean, there's a little tidbit on right now with her
there is a tidbit.
Very breathy proclamation on our Instagram right now.
So that's a great little synopsis, though.
Yeah.
You raise a lot of excellent points, as usual, in a comedic way.
Is it the kill, fuck, marry?
I don't want to talk about that. I'm afraid.
It's fair.
Because I know my answers.
Just tell me after.
Okay.
I would like to know.
Maybe that'll be another.
That'll be on
Maybe we'll do
Spoiler
a new kill, fuck, marry every week or every month on the Patreon.
Exactly. Be on our Patreon if you want to see
Because
who kill, fuck, marry.
they look all delicious this episode. Anyway.
All right. So thank you very much, Theresa. I really enjoyed your stream of consciousness today.
Thank you.
Very intense. You could feel the stress in the episode. So that's a great segue to move on to our discussion of the episode.
Okay, episode 9, Solitary. Great episode. Sayid centric.
Sayid-centric.
So we're getting another backstory for a very, I think, probably a character that people were pretty invested in hearing the backstory for.
I think so. I think if you even take Dan's hot takes into consideration, he thought Sayid's backstory would be like the third or fourth. So he I mean, I think in general, people saw Sayid as someone that we would come to know real well, and we definitely do in this episode. I love this episode.
I love it.
This episode to me is very stressful.
And I mean, it's funny when in your stream of consciousness saying, how far did he get when he's sitting on the beach? Because I was thinking that too. I'm like, I wonder like if they're just around that bend. As I'm looking down at the coastline, because he's just sitting there on the beach, sort of.
Well, Kate says specifically
pensive.
he's only been gone 2 days, right?
That's true. Yeah, only like that's a long time.
Yeah.
But it makes me question, like, how close have they been to Russo this whole time?
2 days.
And how does she not know? Like, maybe I'm just naive and I don't realize how much someone who has Said's background and physical ability could move in 2 days. But it just feels like she must have some inkling that they're there if it's only 2 days by walking.
Yeah, but I think at the same time, we're also assuming that it's like a straight beach path, right? Like the beach could curve around and he could have, gone a corner and
I guess.
And she's got like I don't know if it's like underground.
Yeah,
or,
her bunker was interesting. Like it's in the trees, like it's under
but like
trees, but it looks like it's in the trees. Like,
yeah, I don't really because he had to climb
cool.
out.
Yeah,
I
I wanted to like, I want to see a floor plan of that place.
And how did they build it?
Well, they were there for 2 months before.
Yeah, but I mean, how many people were there? I mean, I guess we don't know how many people in.
Yeah,
But that's very elaborate. Like, did they dig it out? Like, how did
I remember Sayid finding the cable as like almost like a drop mic moment for me too. Originally watching this, I thought it was just like such a simple, small thing, but yet it could mean so many huge things. And I actually, again, sort of feeling like things just blend together. I thought that was much further away than this episode.
Me too. And it's the same with the backstories. I keep saying, like, I thought you didn't find this out in their backstory forever. But when you think about it, there's 14-ish, right? Theresa, 14 main characters. Main characters.
Mm-hmm.
So 25 episodes a season, it would take more than half the season to get to everyone. And if they're going to do more, which they do, how many can they really do for each character? So it does make sense when you think about it. And when you think of all the stuff that happens. But I also am with you. I thought that a lot of the stuff was like way in the future in our journey.
Yeah. And I think though it also just, there's like another thing in this episode, another character that gets introduced that, again, thought that was a lot further away. And it made me think of next week's episode, which horrifying.
Yeah. Next week's episode is quite dramatic.
And I just had a light bulb moment putting that together.
But yeah, so it starts out though kind of, sad, Said solemnly exploring. And then we kind of cut to like a kind of funny moment between Jack and Sawyer, and Jack's kind of checking in on him and kind of says to him like, no one else wants to be around you, dude.
That was mean.
But
it's true though.
It is. And like I said, like Sawyer wasn't exactly helping anything by being in that moment.
I mean, of course, we got the great Dr. Quinn quote, which I loved.
So funny. Cut so many ways.
He's got some good ones, but and just like the whole when Jack says no one wants anything to do with you, and Sawyer, well, she does. I was like, oh, for fuck's sake, like
I know.
And then he gets mad and stumps off.
I know, like so over the top dramatic. Clean your own bandages. Relax, Jack, and then goes to talk to her.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm already annoyed with this like kind of back and forth, like I don't even know, like cat fight pissing contest over her. Like it's ridiculous. Like, guys know I'm not a big Kate apologist, but she's still a human being, and maybe we let her have some say in this, you jackasses.
Well, here's the thing, and this isn't, I know this is a Sayid episode, but it just made me think that I know you also hate Evangelina Lilly, but I do remember her saying something which made kind of sense in that she really did feel like the character was there in a way just to be something to cause like friction with Jack and Sawyer, and then between other men as well. And it kind of became really evident to me that it's like maybe her character's really not written that well when the kiss in last week's episode with Sawyer. And it's just like, it just felt so fantasized in a way, like a weird male fantasy. Like, I'm tortured, I'm going to have this makeout session with this hot girl.
I know. It was like total pandering to this like 18 to 34 male audience that they're always trying to get.
Exactly.
Yeah, I didn't like that.
Yeah. So, but anyway, enough about Kate.
The one thing I do have to say though is I do like when she's talking to Jack there and they're talking about how Sayid left, and she's kind of like, well, he had to leave. Like he felt he had to leave after what happened. And Jack's like, what was an accident? And as he's saying that, I'm about to explode.
Yeah.
And be like, it wasn't an accident that you tortured him, you guys, and stuff. And I love that she was like, well, that's what happens when you torture people or whatever she said. And I was so happy she called him out for that, because it's like, she clearly has sympathy for Sayid and him having left and didn't want that to happen. But she acknowledges that what they did was very wrong and not an accident.
Exactly. That was so wrong of Jack to say. Like, he's just delusional at this point, trying to justify. And I think maybe then Sawyer did have maybe he was right a little bit about Jack coming there to like help him sleep better at night, because clearly he's repressing what actually happened. Like
it may have been an accident that he actually stabbed him, but they were only in that fight because of what they were doing, right? So just ridiculous. And I'll always be fair. I'll always give a fair assessment. I thought she was great in that moment. That was the right thing to do. I love that she called him out for that. Yeah. So, yay, Kate. She did one good thing this whole series.
She did two good things.
What was the second?
Oh, right at the end. Okay, we'll get to that. End. But okay, fine. Two good things.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So what happens next? Is it the hypochondriac, or are we back with Sayid?
I don't remember exactly, but I do remember thinking that there's a bit before we got a flashback in this one.
Yeah, I remember thinking too, like, actually, I don't think we get one until he's hanging.
Right.
From the tree. Mm-hmm. But before that, I think we do meet, what was his name?
Sullivan, the hypochondriac.
Yeah. Which at first I was like, who is this guy? And then I guess it makes sense. You got to at least acknowledge some of the other castaways.
And the other issues that they're having, as you hear Shannon in the background saying, ew, get him out of there.
Okay. I have an interesting story about that. Do you know what that's about?
The showering, I'm guessing.
Someone was in the drinking water?
Yeah. And guess who it was? Vincent. So there was supposed to be a scene where Vincent is drinking from the water, and Shannon gets all pissed off because she's like, oh, that's so gross. And then that's supposed to start the argument when Hurley comes back and says, oh, they're just fighting again. Mm-hmm. And then Vincent's supposed to jump in the pond. And that's when she says, ew, get him out of there. And then she's like all grossed out, which then Michael's like, get your dog out of there, Walt. And then that encourages him to sort of create this design for a shower.
It is a good idea.
Oh my God. That means that he didn't do it out of the goodness of his heart. I need to dog point.
No, you don't. I think he'll probably still come out really on the bottom, so I don't think we need to do that. Plus, that didn't make it in, so the canon of the show, we don't know.
Exactly.
Fine. So he just did it out of the goodness of his heart. He heard a problem and decided to fix it.
Yeah.
For the first time.
So then we do get, we're kind of seeing, you know, it's supposed to be, I think, illustrating to us that there's still a lot of tensions. Yeah. Still a lot of little like microcosm problems going on. And Jack's very focused on fixing, as he always is. And, you know, it kind of sparks something. Hurley's kind of trying to, I think, say like it's not just about surviving, right? Like what's the point of surviving if they're going to essentially go nuts, right?
If they're just going to attack each other, kill each other.
And there's more to surviving than the physical, right? Like, I mean, look at Walt, right? Like he's, again, I don't know, is he 9, 12? I don't know. He's clearly bored out of his mind. Like how in you know, normal circumstances, I'm sure he'd read a book or go outside and play. Like what's he going to play with out there? Like the smoke monster?
Well, that's the thing. Michael's like, go find something to keep you occupied. What's he going to find? What is there? Help him.
And I honestly thought it was a little irresponsible of him to say that, because it's like you're essentially telling him to go make himself useful or find something to do in a really terrifying unknown environment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, maybe you should say, I think a good parent would find him some things to work on so he didn't feel the need to wander into the jungle and play with knives.
And here's the other thing, like, every time he does this, instead of saying, why don't you help me? Why don't we do this together? It's like, just get lost.
Yeah.
Like, I'm busy. Fuck off.
And I do think there's a level of that he's just not used to being a parent.
I suppose.
But also, like, you can't throw around the father card and then, like, not do anything. Like, I know you're not used to being a parent, but you're on an island. You have nothing else really to do, as you just said. So why don't you make yourself useful in your son's life? I'm just saying, like, that's kind of ridiculous. All Walt wanted to do was take his dog to the beach. You could have walked him there and back and then worked on your drawing. It wouldn't have taken more than, I'm guessing...
No, it's several hours.
3-4 hours. Didn't they say it was only a few miles? I don't know how long a mile is.
It takes a few hours to walk. I don't know.
Lost bringing out daddy issues since 2004.
I'm just saying that, like, all the kid wanted to do was go to the beach with his dog. And then he says, go find something to do. Was that not what he was going to go, like... I don't really understand, like, what the problem is then. Like, you want him to go do something. He wants to do something. You're saying no. Like, what's he going to do then?
Yeah. So we do get back to Sayid. He's now
hanging from a tree.
Found himself twice assaulted in 3 episodes.
Yeah, he's really getting the brunt of it.
Yeah. And like, to your point, Theresa, about the Jimmy, wait, what are those called? Sticky pots? Sticky Miggy Jimmy's.
What's Jimmy?
Those traps, booby traps.
Sticky Jimmy?
Oh, the
booby traps,
tripwire,
otherwise known as Sticky Jimmys.
The booby trap tripwires.
Yes,
I think, yeah, like, clearly Russo, she's got a lot of time. She's been here for a long time, so clearly she's trying to catch these people who, as we find out at the end, took her child.
Yeah.
Right? We do find that out at the end, right?
Well, it's alluded to that she had a child. And...
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Where's Alex? She's asking, where's Alex? Alex was my child. Yeah.
So, yeah. And, you know, it's kind of an interesting, and I don't know if they did this on purpose or it's just a coincidence, but I feel like everything's on purpose. Mm-hmm. The kind of corresponding, like, storylines in this are, you know, what can happen, like, Hurley worried about them going crazy and being alone and not having fun and not kind of giving themselves, like, a bit of a normal life. Mm-hmm. And it's contrasted to what we see could happen to someone if they're alone on that island for 16 years, mm-hmm. right? Because she's very capable. She's surviving, but she is not thriving.
No, exactly.
And she's got issues, and she's clearly very lonely and traumatized. And
her character was introduced so amazingly. Like, she could have so easily just been this, like, psycho, crazy woman, but the fact that they still gave her some, like, depth and some warmth, and, like, you felt sorry for her, even though she was about, or she does torture Sayid. Also, Sayid being the torturee this episode and the torturer last episode. Yeah. Interesting.
And the torturer in his flashbacks.
Yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right, and just kind of experiencing that. I mean, I'm not saying that it's okay for what she's doing to him, but if that's what she's been living with and she thinks she's finally caught one of the people she's been hearing in her mind or in her voice or ear for 16 years, then it makes sense. I actually think she comes around to the idea that it might not be him actually quite quickly.
Super fast. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Also, Theresa, I'm pretty sure there's been many reports and studies that torture doesn't in fact work that well.
Okay. Because, I was just like, he just kept punching that guy in the face or whatever. And then he's like, he didn't do it. And I was like, how do you know that?
I think the idea is, not that in any way do I condone or support this in any way, but I think the idea is that certain people who do still think it does have some sort of use, is that they can start to get so good at it that they know the difference between, like, when he said, like, he's not going to tell me anything, he learns, like, people's limits and what they'll kind of do in their tells and their ticks and stuff. Is that a science? Absolutely not. And it's why it's such a ridiculous practice, because you torture someone long enough, they'll tell you whatever they want to hear, whether it's real or not.
Exactly. But Sayid's being tortured, and, like, she has these batteries. Where are these just leftovers? Like, I wonder how long she's been waiting to electrocute someone.
I was a little dubious about her supplies.
And, like, so the cable, I'm guessing, is, like, hers?
No, I don't think so. No. Because she said the transmission is coming from the tower, which quote unquote they control now, right? Yeah. So I'm assuming that cable has something to do with that.
Yeah, she definitely had like a lot of stuff.
She dropped so many tidbits in everything she said. There was a little nugget of a lot of questions to ask. So like you kind of went over some of them, like what is the Black Rock? I mean, we do find that out. Who are the others? We do find that out. Things like they control the tower. Okay, well, where's this tower? And why can't the people on the beach see it? Like, how big is this island? And then, of course, Sayid finds the maps, takes the map. So, like, there are so many little nuggets that she drops.
Yeah.
It's really impressive.
But that's more what I was, like, freaking out about. Because I already was like, okay, we found out who sent the transmission and we meet Rousseau way earlier than I thought. But more so, we find out all these little tidbits way faster and like on top of one another more than I remembered.
Yeah, and I'm trying to remind myself that like some of these don't get explained until like the 6th
season 6.
Yeah.
We were talking about that on the break about the Black Rock, for example.
Yeah. And it's like, so they drop this nugget and by season 6 you're just like, holy shit, that's what she talked about in like the 9th episode. And you probably don't hear of it since.
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy.
But then, yes, something like this, you find out very fast. So I love that, though, because you never know. You're always on kind of your toes with, when are we going to find, are we going to get an answer? When are we going to get an answer? Is it going to be next episode or in 2 seasons?
Or 5.
And that's what I like, we mentioned it briefly, but that's what, like, they did answer this in 9 episodes. And you're right. It makes you question it. Like, okay, so we're going to start getting answers. We're going to start getting answers. And then they do sort of string us
like,
along.
nah.
But there's for every question that gets answered, they ask like 6 more questions, right? Yeah. So it's like, you get some answers, but then you're left with so many more things that you want to find out. So I think we should, I don't know, what do you guys think? Should we just talk Sayid for a bit and then talk
golf? I think so, especially because I don't know that the stuff on... Don't get me wrong, I love the like group stuff, but I don't know it's overly consequential too.
No.
No.
Let's just do Sayid, and then we'll go to the golf storyline. But the scenes with Rousseau cut spliced with his backstory. We meet Nadia, childhood friend, who had a crush on him because she pushed him in the mud.
Cute.
That's cute. Until you find out that he's going to torture her. And then it's not so cute.
And she's been tortured many times before, so she's some sort of radical.
I was going to say, I wasn't really clear on what they thought that she's some sort of kind of radicalized.
Yeah, I think, doesn't he ask her something like, just confirm, because at some point he shows her these pictures, just confirm which one of these planted the bomb or something like that. It's some kind of generic question. And I think, we're supposed to be led to believe she's a radical, maybe somewhat knowledgeable about these terror groups that they're fighting, but
he calls her a traitor to the country. It's interesting because we see him kind of struggle obviously with what he's supposed to do when he kind of knows someone a bit, and he's kind of confronted with this idea by someone who I wouldn't say they have the greatest, strongest relationship, but he must trust her on some level. And he's kind of confronted with this idea because she kind of says, like, these are the people you're working for, right? Like, I've been tortured. Look at the marks on my body. This is what the people you work with are doing to me, your friends. And I think it's probably difficult because he's clearly very entrenched. That person that he talks to at the beginning they seem friendly.
Yeah, and he's his superior at the moment. They have this conversation about Sayid getting some sort of promotion, and it's alluded to that soon Sayid will be this guy's boss. And so he's very, like you say, entrenched in the system of the Revolutionary Guard, and clearly this has been his life.
And so I think it's always difficult when you kind of get this blast from the past that's also kind of reminding you, like, this isn't everything, this isn't all there is to this, and like this doesn't necessarily mean it's the right thing. And that clearly has an effect on him.
Absolutely, because he really starts to tone down the torture. Although, like you say, we don't see it. We're led to believe that he's hurting her or torturing her. She says hurting. Very sad.
But he's also like feeding her, so it's like,
Yeah.
I don't know what the situation is, but he clearly cares a lot about her because doesn't look like he's beating her.
And I mean, it's sort of alluded to that he's taking longer with her than with anybody else.
Yeah.
Because his boss or whatever says it's been over a month. You've had enough time. She's not going to give us anything. It's time to kill her. You know, and that sort of breaks Sayid out of this. I don't know what he was thinking. He was just going to like keep her safe in that hole for the rest of until he figured something else out and just feed her bread. Like, but it sort of like broke him out of this weird fantasy that he was helping her. And he's like, oh shit, it's about to get real.
Yeah.
Don't know. Oh, I do know why. I was going to say, I don't know why he doesn't just go with her. But then he says, because my family's here and they'll kill them. But yeah, he concocts his plan. Essentially just shoots himself, and then tells Nadia to take off. She writes that message on the back of the picture, which is the message that he then reads to Rousseau. But okay, Rousseau asks him to fix her music box. No, he offers to fix it in exchange for essentially like giving. I think he just offers as a way to like build a relationship.
Yeah, because it's clear that she's like very lonely.
Oh yeah.
Because even when like I kind of mentioned, like she's like touching him, and she's like kind of keeping this conversation.
She's very all over him.
But then, Kate, so like I kind of get it though, because like remember when we were in like the beginning of the situation of 2020.
Yes.
So I lived by myself, and so that was 2 months of me not getting more than 6 feet from someone and not touching another human being. And like I'm not a big hugger, not a big toucher, but I remember the minute I could, like, even I think we had a barbecue once, and like everybody has a partner but me, so everybody's kind of coupled off, and I remember us like sanitizing our hands so that I could like hold hands with someone so that I could at least get like physical contact. So if that's how I was after 2 months, and I had, FaceTime and house party, I can't imagine going 16 years without any kind of physical contact, not talking to anyone. Like, I'm surprised she's as sane as she is, to be honest.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Also, who remembers House Party?
I was just thinking that.
You play games of that.
What happened to House Party?
House Party was a very specific moment in time.
No kidding.
Yeah.
You guys want a house party after?
Yeah.
But yeah, no, Rousseau definitely, like you say, much more coherent than possibly should have been. But she's been very focused on getting Alex back or finding out where Alex is. So as crazy as she's been, she's had a purpose.
Yeah, that's true. And
she's out there setting traps.
Yeah, no kidding. And they're elaborate. Because like,
I mean, it's got like 2 stages.
Exactly. If you don't trip on that, if you don't trigger that wire, step over it and you're caught anyway.
I wonder what it was that he stepped on that triggered the hoop loop.
The hoop loop.
The loop that grabbed his feet.
Didn't it just grab his feet?
Like, didn't he step on it?
Yeah, but something would have to trigger it to like zip out.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Like, what could it have been? I don't know. I'm not a booby trapper.
No, me neither.
Or what is it? Slimmy Jim?
Slimmy Jimmer.
Slim Jims? Skinny Jim?
Jimmy Jims.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, he fixes her music box.
Oh, that was beautiful.
But then he also keeps a tool.
Yeah,
Well, he's if he's not anything, it's resourceful or whatever.
He's very resourceful. And he's like pretty good at thinking on his feet.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, I really enjoyed that kind of. I liked their back and forth. I do think he was kind of getting through to her because I think at the end of the day, torture aside, he's an intelligence officer. You see a lot more of his backstory later and kind of what he does after. He's a good reader of people, right? And he kind of got a read on her and how to kind of get through to her, and he does to a degree, and works at his benefit. So
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, he kind of got saved by the bear, or what we're assume is a bear. She says if we're lucky, it's just one of the bears.
yeah.
Which she's kind of conflicted against herself because she says if we're lucky, it's just one of the bears. Then he says it could be the monster. There's no such thing as monsters.
what else would it be?
Yeah. So why would she say if we're lucky, it's just one of the bears? So either she's just being crazy Rousseau.
Unless she thinks it's the others.
Oh, that's true. She could think it's the others, yeah. Just to kind of wrap up, how the Sayid Rousseau story goes, I mean, it was pivotal because we learn about the others. We hear the others for the very first time. We hear all these nuggets of information that are going to come to light at some point. And she also ends up playing a very huge role in the future of the Lost show. So it was pivotal for that sense. And I think the whispers you hear at the end set up this mystery that does get answered. It does get answered. But it's really spooky.
It is spooky. And it's also, again, interesting to me, like where this is happening versus where our main crew is. Like how far are they away from like Jack and them right now? Because are these whispers?
But it could be, I mean, 2 days is a long time to walk.
I guess.
It's just pretty fit.
And I mean, when you're surrounded by dense jungle, I think it is easier to
stay hidden,
be isolated.
I guess I really have a hard time wrapping my head around this idea that they can't. But I just want to say,
sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say quickly, I also just think it's very interesting that it's Sayid that's on this kind of like mini journey, because I think Sayid is the most capable of receiving this information. I think if you had Jack with Rousseau,
oh God,
that would have gone completely differently, and we would know nothing about what's going on.
That's a good question, or a good thing to point out, because each character would take it very differently. Sayid is pragmatical and practical, but he's also
like good at gathering information.
That's true. Yeah, exactly. So how do you think? Okay, so Sawyer or Jack, he probably would just be like, "You're insane. You're crazy."
And he would have just fought with her the whole time.
Yeah, yeah.
I think that Kate would have been out of there 5 seconds after she got there, because she's like a little monkey, and she would have found a way out of there.
That's true.
And we would know nothing.
Yeah.
I think Sawyer probably would have been murdered.
Yeah, I don't think he would have lasted long.
Yeah. It's just a good person.
Yeah.
Like, he's so capable, but he's also, pragmatic, like you said, and he's able to accept that there is more going on than what is.
I'm sorry, no, go ahead, sir. I also think that he needed to go on this 2-day thing, because if we remember from before, like, his temper was like getting up there.
Yeah.
Like with the water, and then with the whole Sawyer thing, like he was just snapping kind of like left and right. So now that he's had time to like kind of reflect on what he's been doing, I think that he is able to take it a little bit better. I think that if it had been like even 2 days ago, he would have probably like flipped out and started yelling or something like that. Because I mean, he was yelling about water. Imagine yelling about being electrocuted.
Well, and I mean, it did answer. He found out the answer to a mystery that he was the one that broke, because of Sayid. They were able to hear the transmission in the first place, and now it's almost like cathartic for him to be the one to find the quote unquote source. We know it's her. We don't know where it's technically coming from yet, but yeah. So he has a bit of closure, and now can sort of move on from this angry Sayid and my shit's not working. Everyone's interfering. No one's doing anything good, and so you get, it's almost like a Sayid's like second act in the season.
Yeah. It's kind of his pathway to redemption a little bit, and he can return. I think the other thing too is I think he was going to have a hard time returning.
Yeah.
And I think if he can go back to them with this, whether or not it's the reality, I think he's going to personally feel like he's now allowed to return. He's allowing himself to return, because he left after causing turmoil and sorrow and trauma, and he's going to return with something that could hopefully help them.
Yeah, he's bringing back something valuable. So it's like, for him, like you say, he feels he's now allowed to come back. So I got this book called The Unofficial Guide of Finding Lost by Nikki Stafford. She does an episode by episode sort of write-up. And in this book, she's actually got the solitary whisper transcript from R.V. Tunage and Pen Yours. So these are what the whispers say. Lucky the man can't run. He's a crash survivor. Why only isolate him? I said we do. He's coming. Click. You have no idea how he got here? Right here. He's right behind me. It's okay. Who cares? Help him when? Crash survivor. Why only isolate him? Standing orders. Go. You have no idea. He's coming. Security issue. You have no idea how we got here? Just skip it.
That's terrifying.
I have chills. I'm uncomfortable.
And having seen the whole series, I still find the whispers to be like problematic, like, and completely honestly unnecessary. Like, this is just horrifying to do to people. Like,
It does sound very scary.
like, but very interesting. And yeah, and I remember reading in that book that 2 fans just like did that. They isolated the sound with technology and stuff. So good on them.
Yes, thank you.
Terrifying. And see, I'm glad that they actually did something. It wasn't just like pss, 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 pss,
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
right.
So you got to wonder, like, are half of these anything meaningful and half just random, or are they all just random and with 1 or 2 meaningful things in there? Who knows?
Maybe we'll find out.
Maybe we will. So let's go back to...
Wait, one thing I think we skirted over was that Russo killed them.
Yes.
The sickness.
Yeah, it talks about them being carriers.
Yeah.
And her killing her partner.
Yeah.
And what's that about? Is that something, or is it just her being crazy? Right? We don't know.
Yeah.
But it, it kind of adds to the mystery of her and the like, is she dangerous? Is she crazy? I hate using that term, but is she, quote unquote crazy? Yeah. Is she right? Like, is she right about everything? Is she the most sane on the island so far? You like you said, you answer one question, that's who it was, but we ask 12 more questions.
Exactly.
And I mean, that's why I think her as a character and as a performance was so well done, because she plays each level, like you say, quote unquote crazy, or maybe we'll say unstable, just enough mixed in with feelings of she's actually being reasonable and truthful, that you don't know what to believe. Like, it's not easy just to write her off as being, oh, she's just gone crazy, being on the island by herself this whole time.
And exactly, you kind of touched on it too. You can't write her off. Sayid can't write off what she's saying. And he knows that. That's why he's taking her maps and because there is something there. And she has been able to keep herself alive all this time.
Yeah,
so
totally.
She's capable and she's intelligent and she's got good survival instincts and stuff. So she must have some knowledge and experience with what's going on. And it could be very valuable to them. And I like that he recognizes that and doesn't just... Because I think some of the other ones would have just been like, get me out of here.
Yeah, 100%. Exactly.
And he does say at one point, he's like, I think you've been alone for a long time. And I think at the end, when he like hears the whispers, he's like, okay, like, she's not insane. Like, I'm hearing them too, and I'm not crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't been here 16 years.
Yeah,
I've never been here 16 days.
And he did say the only person he could trust was himself.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like,
So it's very interesting because we have, I think, one of the heaviest, like all the flashbacks have their moments, but I think obviously the heaviest flashbacks I would say so far in terms of what his previous life has entailed, and the issues with Nadia, and then we have a very serious, terrifying experience he has with Russo. But I don't know if, again, this was on purpose or not, but they've decided to add, I think, the most levity we've really seen in the show so far as kind of a counter to that.
It had to have been on purpose because it acts as the perfect counter.
Yeah.
I think any more would have just been like way too much.
Yeah, it would have been like disingenuous.
Yeah. I mean, and it does feel genuine in that it's what, day 12 on the island now?
12 and 13.
So it's like been basically 2 weeks, and Hurley comes to the decision and the conclusion that, we can't just fix each other up and move on. We have to find an outlet, or we will just go crazy. Mm-hmm. And he finds a set of golf clubs.
With the help of Ethan.
Ethan is a new
Locke's
character.
new hunting partner.
They say, we're going to find rabbit tracks and other rodents. I don't think rabbits are rodents.
yeah, I didn't think so either.
I got so offended by that I started coughing because rabbits are delightful. Yeah, so then he decides he's you know what, people are doing their thing. Michael's apparently designing showers. Jack's doing his doctoring thing. Son is clearly very much his assistant now.
Yeah, it's really cute.
And he's like, fuck you guys. I'm going to do my own thing too.
Yeah.
And he creates his golf course and brings them out. And at first, Jack and Michael and even Charlie to a degree are kind of shitting on it a little bit, but they eventually get into
Especially
it.
Michael.
I'd say him and Jack were equally. No, Michael was the worst. Okay, but yeah, it was a good moment, and there's definitely going to be some Spoiler Island talk about that.
Yeah.
Definitely.
But
But it led to a few even more cute moments. So first of all, it's just cute. It's nice to see them kind of cutting loose, if you will.
yeah,
And just being goofy and having fun. Plus, we don't get Jack out in the open that often. The sunlight was really doing it for him. So I think we all benefited in a lot of ways. But we get a few cute little things. Like, I really like when Boone goes to kind of tell Shannon, like, oh, I hear there's a golf course. We need to go check it out. And then Kate's like, Jack's playing golf? What? And then Sawyer's kind of like, a doctor playing golf. What's next? A donut or a cop eating a donut? Like,
that was funny.
It is funny.
Yeah, it was. And Kate with those cargo pants. Again.
I know, her outfit is
Why?
so terrible.
They're very practical. She can put things
What's she
in
putting in those pockets?
Bananas.
them. Sticks, mangoes.
I hate her outfit in general. I also hate that like tiny little green t-shirt thing.
She's always in that.
I know, I hate it.
Is she?
Well,
Yeah, for a
this
while.
episode and the next. But yeah, so no, it was cute because then everyone on the beach is like kind of excited about something. They're like, oh my God, we got to go check this out. It was pretty funny. And all of a sudden there was a crowd, including hypochondriac guy who comes up looking for Jack, thinking he's got more questions. And then it's like the perfect example of why this was needed, because he comes up being like, hey, my rash is spreading. I need to know like what this is. Are you guys playing golf?
And can I play? And then he's done, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's exactly, and that's kind of what had spurred it on too, right? Because Jack says like, you need to stop thinking about it or whatever. And Hurley's like,
What's
how?
up? Yeah. I loved when Jack said,
It could be worse.
it could be worse. And Hurley's like, how? I love that. Because, yeah, of course it could be worse. But I mean, it's pretty damn bad.
Yeah, it could be worse that they could all be dead.
Yeah.
But like for being alive, it's pretty bad. Like,
Exactly.
Well, yeah, they're probably so bored too. Like you have
Yeah.
nothing else but to think about your like stress.
So yeah, and then before kind of Kate goes to watch, her and Sawyer have this like kind of cute little back and forth about how no one wants him around, and she kind of says like, from one outcast to another, you need to make more of an effort, and you kind of expect him to kind of roll that away and just kind of be like
Yeah.
grouchy still.
Would we call her an outcast?
That's what I was wondering. Like, but is she thinking more in terms of
Her whole life.
her whole life? I think so.
I think so.
I'd like to think so, because at this point, like, she's got everybody.
Yeah, one would argue she's not enough of an outcast.
Oh my God.
One would, yes.
That perhaps she should be more isolated from the group, and perhaps no one should speak to her. Yet she becomes the main love interest for two hotties. Life's so unfair.
I also wonder, like, how does Hurley feel knowing that, like, she has a mugshot and now we're just like, this is fine.
Well, I don't think much bothers Hurley, but
Yeah, he seems to get over everything pretty quick. He's pretty chill.
He's a very sweet guy.
So you see the whole crowd, and they're taking action or bets on Jack's putt. Who says it makes the initial bet? But
I think it's Hurley maybe, or Charlie.
Charlie, I think. And then Boone bets, but yeah, so it was good. And then that's when Sawyer comes out, and it's like, okay, so he is going to make an effort.
And it was kind of awkward because like, that took a lot for him to do.
Yeah,
And
totally.
so he does, and he just walks up. And I was really, it's going to sound so freaking stupid, but I was really proud of him in that moment. Because you know what? It takes guts to walk up to a group of, like, that's a huge
It
group
does.
of people.
Yeah.
And they're all watching the, like, rock star.
Yeah.
And you're already uncomfortable. And you, like, I could feel how much anxiety that must have caused him. And he walks up to them, and and then it looks like everyone's going to shut him down. He's going to walk away. And then Kate's like, I'll take that action or whatever.
And then Boot gets in on it and everybody starts to get in on it.
I liked when Shannon was like, basically says, like, you just bet against yourself in a way.
But I don't think that's accurate.
Because he bet, I don't actually even remember what the bet was, that he's going to get it or miss it.
Right.
And Boone, I don't know which way he bets, but he bets against himself. And he's just like, well, we need the sunscreen, dumbass. Like,
Yeah.
It's true.
Because she's a little red on the shoulders.
but it's kind of funny that Sawyer comes and barters, like, or not barters, but uses his hoard to make bets with now.
I mean, that's kind of smart because someone
is.
was like $10. I'm like, what do you mean $10 here? Like,
And I think someone yelled at. They're like, "You don't have any cash."
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
But no, that was a cute little.
It was such a feel good moment. Like, even as we talk about it, I've like got this smile on my face because there's like his little dimples. He's just looking and he's like, I got 2 things of sunscreen and a flashlight.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that, and it was just a nice kind of. You know, last week's episode with him and Kate and Jack was so heavy. So I kind of and like that, and Boone too, right?
Yeah.
Like, 'cause he beat up Boone, like those 4 to kind of be, it was very nice. And then, so it's kind of a nice counterbalance to the way we left them last episode.
Yeah.
And then obviously a good counterbalance in general to the heaviness of Sayid's storyline.
Because even Jack is smiling.
Yeah.
And that was a nice
That's just
moment.
very rare.
Yeah, he does not smile. He's usually very angry or jealous. And then we have Locke throwing knives.
Oh, I forgot about that
And
already.
then,
Yeah, creepy again.
And then Walt wants to join in, and he's
I guess
like,
it's not creepy, but
It's creepy.
I mean, like,
not really.
I mean,
he's a hunter.
I guess he's got to keep up his skills. But it was good intentional moment to show that Locke's kind of not really with the group. And it's almost like it's purposefully setting him up as an actual outcast.
Yeah.
Whereas Kate and Sawyer can argue that they're outcasts because people don't like them and that they can be jerks or whatever. But Locke is legitimately just staying away from people, focusing on throwing knives.
Jobs.
Yeah.
Like getting up hunting and
Yeah.
practicing hunting. And then last time I think he was like whittling when he was kind of spurring Sayid on.
Yeah. So, I mean, it was a good moment, and Walt kind of walks in and, that's setting up for a disaster moment.
I'm sure Michael's getting yelled some more.
Oh, no, I'm sure he's going to be just fine with it. Michael's always just fine with
He's
everything.
immediately just going to fly off the handle.
And then at the very end, I mean, we already talked about Sayid, the Whispers, but that's how the episode ends, is Sayid being surrounded by the Whispers. Very disorienting way. I love this episode.
I love it. Like I said in the beginning, we'll do our ratings at the end, but
Yeah.
I think 8.5 is criminal. I think it's
I agree.
too low.
Yeah.
It's masterfully acted.
Yeah.
I think it was done really well. I just think like maybe it's low because it's so stressful, not stressful, stressful, not stressful.
But I think that's good, though. To me, that makes like a good...
It made the stress worse. Like as I was watching, like I could not write fast enough because I was like, oh, they're so cute. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my
Yeah.
God,
I mean, for your purposes of writing a journal, essentially, as you're watching it, might be a little too much.
heart
But
could not take it. And that's why there's, as I was talking, I'm like, oh my God, this is taking forever. And it's because every like 30 seconds I was like, oh my God. Oh my God.
so that's actually a good segue to let's hear how this episode, how the characters ranked. Is Michael finally going to make his way out of the bottom?
No.
Okay, there we go.
No. I think I was going to say that there was going to be some lead up, and there's absolutely none. The answer is no.
No, he's stuck in that bottom
Rory has hypothesized that he will not be out of the bottom
ever.
long past. We'll see.
I honestly, I don't remember.
But let's
No,
hear
we'll
them
find out.
rankings.
I don't remember enough. Michael, in a surprise to no one, and because I just admitted it, is at number 14 with negative 1,270. Shannon is at number 13 with negative 615. Kate, negative 300. Boone, negative 90. Jen, negative 70. Walt, negative 30. Now we're going into the positives. So now we have more than half above zero.
Whoa.
People are making their way up.
Except for Michael. I think he might be screwed actually. There's like 1,800 between him at the bottom and the top.
That's a deep hole.
And it's because he's just such a dick. Like he's just not doing it. Anyway, Sawyer. No. I don't want Michael Schmeichel 11. That's terrible. No.
Michael Schmeichel 11.
Oh my God, no, please. I like mine better. Why can't I be 11? Anyway, Sawyer at 35. Locke, 190. Sayid, 235. Jack, 295. Claire, 325. Hurley, 475. Charlie, 575. And then Sun is still at the top with 635.
Do you have your rankings from last week on that notepad? What did Locke change from?
Locke used to be, he was number 5, and this week he's number 7.
Oh, so he went down?
He did go down, yeah.
Oh, is that knife throwing?
It's actually because other people went up, I think.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Because, like, Hurley went
So he didn't necessarily lose points, he just...
He gained...
He gained?
He gained 40 points.
May I ask why?
It was for sharing the golf clubs. At first,
okay.
I thought he could be like, or I could use this to club a piglet or a rodent or something ridiculous. And then at the end, when he was like, I like that he acknowledged that like Michael would be unhappy with it. But he's also not blind. I'm sure he sees Walt being like, "Can I go do this?" And his dad being like, "Nah, fuck off." And then I'm sure Locke was watching somewhere from afar, like the whole golf thing. And then again, this kid being dismissed, like it's very clear that like Walt needs attention and he's not getting it. So,
Yeah, Locke, he's not stupid. He wants to give Walt something. So, wow, great. Thanks for the rankings.
Thank you.
Check them out on our blog where you'll see the week-to-week changes. It's quite interesting to see how those people move all around.
Except for Michael.
Okay, first of all, Michael went down, but...
And then stayed down.
No, but he honestly, when he made that drawing, I was like, thank God he's doing something useful.
That's true.
Finally. But then...
So mean to Walt. No, I get it. You don't know us an explanation.
Really? Because I'm pretty sure you were like, bringing up daddy issues since 2004.
Not just for you. I meant
The whole
overall.
show is
the
about
whole
daddy
show
issues.
is like basically a therapy session.
I know.
That's about it for this week of Solitary. Oh, we have to do our rankings.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God. This is so funny.
I know.
I know what mine's going to be.
I know. And Dan is going to just shit on us all when he hears it.
Why? Always don't.
So why don't you start us off then, Kipperini?
Mine's going to be a 10.
Tenor.
Just a 10 right out the gate. Yeah, it was good. It was quintessential Lost for me.
I was just about to say I'm also going to give it a 10 because of that exact reason. I said this episode gives me essentially everything I need in an episode. You get the most beautiful flashbacks that really, I think, highlight a lot about a person. You get this very you get the mystery, the intrigue, some answers, some questions, some, kind of moments where you don't know what the hell's going on. And then you do get that character development and those sweet moments, because I think anyone who knows my journey with Lost, I love these big kind of declarations of affection that kind of come out between people in this show. And later on, they get very famous for some. And this to me was kind of the beginning of that, these little moments between Sawyer and Kate and Jack and everyone. And you kind of get a bit about it. So I loved it. 10 out of 10 for me.
Also, I just want to quickly say, the scenery, they just showed off the island. It was so beautiful too. We don't often get those pano wide shots of
No, it's a lot of sand or a cave.
Just gorgeous. How about you? What was your ranking, Theresa?
I'm going to give it a 9.6.
Okay. That's very high. You don't seem convinced.
Because I'm trying to think, I liked it, obviously, because I love when something makes my heart race, and I like being cheesed. But, Michael, I can't give it a 10 because I hated Michael so much in this episode. And I couldn't give it a 10 because it's really...
It's just Michael.
It might be Michael. I feel like there's another reason why.
So, essentially...
No episode Michael is ever is going to get a 10.
No, I think I gave a 10 to...
Walkabout.
And he was in that one. It's just he really pissed me off.
You probably gave that one a 10 because he got speared by a boar.
Well, he had no business anyway.
But interestingly enough, so we all give it kind of a high,
very high
ratings nonetheless.
Yeah.
Maybe nitpicking here and there, but this was an episode that is also relatively well received. This was submitted for Nudie and Andrews, as you kind of alluded to. And Walkabout is another one that you said you rated quite highly that also gets a lot of Emmy consideration. So, I think we're kind of in line, at least with the critics. Maybe not always like I said, I think it was rated a little bit low.
So we're taking like IMDb ratings. And I think anyone can vote on those.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's more of like a general populist rating.
Yeah.
So I think it's a good comparison.
Absolutely. And because IMDb is very, like, you Google anything and IMDb is the first thing that comes up. It's very, I think, well known.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us for another week of Let's Get Lost. And next week we have, we're hitting the 10 mark, episode 10.
Wow.
And we will give you a little surprise. It is a Claire-centric episode. And in that vein, we will have another special guest with us. So tune in next week for that. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Let's Get Lost. Be sure to tune in next week wherever you listen to your podcasts and follow us on Instagram and Twitter at letsgetlost.pod. Links to our website and Patreon can be found in our profiles. Join our Patreon for only $3 a month for exclusive access and content like Spoiler Island. Be sure to get lost with us again next time. Bye.
Hey. Okay.